Johnson in Nacogdoches right now. Hi, Vanessa. How's it going out there?
Hey, it's well. I'm indoors, so it's cool.
Yeah, no, it is definitely one of those days you want to be inside. Maybe drinking some water because you are in those triple digits. I know you're out in Nacogdoches talking about the preservation efforts that are underway for Zion Hill Baptist Church. Tell me a little bit about what you learned today and what's going on out there.
Yes, actually, I learned a lot. I'm with Veronica Amo, the historical sites manager, and I was telling her, I said, you always hear about Zion Hill, but I don't know much about it. And so she gave me a history lesson, and it was amazing just hearing um, pretty much what they're trying to preserve here. Of course, it's always good to preserve history, but the story that we're talking about today, they're trying to create an exhibit that will preserve all that history, show people what happened in the past, and all it hurt to know more about it. What's City Council tonight?
Hi, so like she said, my name is Veronica Amo. I'm the Historic Site Manager for City of Nacogdoches. This evening at the City Council meeting, we'll be presenting City Council with a contract between the City of Nacogdoches and a museum exhibit design company. And if it's approved, we'll move forward on the planning of an exhibit that will go right here in Zion Hill that'll talk about the history of the congregation that was here, the history of the community and how the church served the community, and just try to preserve that history and share it with the community for years to come.
You know,
Sorry.
yeah, no, elaborate if you would, because I know you
Yeah.
gave Vanessa a history lesson, but here on East Texas now, I'm not close to Nacogdoches. I would love a history lesson as well. So tell me a little bit about that if you don't mind.
Absolutely. So, the congregation Zion Hill Baptist Church was one of the oldest African American Baptist congregations in Texas. The congregation itself started in 1878 by Pastor Lawson Reed. The church itself was built by a locally known architect named Diedrich Ross in 1914, and the church served here between 1914 and the 1980s. And it was kind of the pinnacle point of the Zion Hill neighborhood. There's an entire neighborhood around the church, and of course, in those days, a lot of people would just walk to the church. So the church was just kind of a center point of the lives of those who lived in the area. So they worshiped here. They did public programs here. They had meetings here. So they essentially it was part of their everyday life, and some of that is what we hope to present in the history in the exhibit.
Awesome. That sounds, so cool, especially, keeping that bit of history. I feel like it's so important, especially in Nacogdoches. There's so many things that do need to be preserved. So I know those efforts are underway. But Nessa, have you learned anything else today that we haven't talked about?
Yes, I do want to point out because I had asked her, I said, why create this exhibit now and not, earlier years ago? So she was telling me that this church had to undergo restoration, and that took like 20 years. And she can detail the process, but she said in 2023 is when it was finally finished. So I was like, okay, that makes a ton of sense. I don't know if you have the time just to hear about, I guess, that process.
Yeah, yeah. I would love to hear about that process.
Yeah, so the Zion Hill Church was first taken on by the Nacogdoches County Historical Foundation and later given over to the city of Nacogdoches. But all of these years since the early 2000s, it's been undergoing a full restoration. So that includes restoring the historical building, but also making it ready to use as a modern building. So today versus the early 1900s, we have a lot of building codes that they wouldn't have had. So we had to add modern things like air conditioning, lights. We have an ADA lift. So we just wanted the building to be accessible to use for the public today. So that was a long process. And so the focus was just getting the building ready for the community. And now that it's open, we've been open for a couple of years. We host a lot of events here. Now is when we are going to shift our focus to the museum exhibit itself. That again will share the history with the community, with visitors to East Texas. I think it's just a special time, and we're really excited. The design process for the exhibit is not going to be a fast process. It's going to take about 2 years, but I think it's the history deserves that time and attention to make sure it's presented correctly presented and representing as many families as possible who attended the church, who grew up in the neighborhood, who have precious memories of their lives here.
And
That's
if you
so
have,
cool.
just a little bit more, if we can keep you a little longer, I kind of want to
Yeah.
show you around. And I'll show you the area where the exhibit will be. And Veronica can talk, and I'll stay as close by to her and show y'all.
Yeah, no, I would love
So
that, Vanessa.
this will be where the exhibit will be, and I'll flip the camera around. So as you can see, you have the stained glass windows and a lot of room. It's really pretty in here. It's beautiful, actually.
Yeah, so what might be hard to see in the video, but we've outfitted a lot more electrical in the area. There's gallery lighting, there's plugs, because what we hope in this exhibit is to have a lot of different design elements. Not only are we going to have like panels with beautiful pictures, but we're hoping to incorporate some of the oral history that's been preserved through the East Texas Research Center and the African American Heritage Project. A lot of these partnering organizations have done wonderful work to preserve some of these stories. So we're hoping to have maybe video and like I said, stations for people to listen to those sharing the stories from their own perspectives, which I think is really important. So this will be where most of the exhibit is, but of course we're working with the design company to incorporate all parts of the church. So you might have a small part of the exhibit in the main sanctuary area. We'll have maybe an exhibit panel in the pastor's office, but this is where most of the exhibit we're hoping will stand, and we can't wait to see it. We're imagining what it might look like, and of course it's going to be a journey, but we're excited to go through it.
And
Man,
I
those
want to show
windows
y'all
are
one more
pretty. I love
color.
that glass.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, they're beautiful. And the colors, they're beautiful. I want to show y'all one more, just the congregation area. This is my first time I've been out here in Deep East Texas for a year and a half, and I've never been in here. And so just seeing it, I'm like, this is amazing. It's really beautiful. And y'all might catch a glimpse of my camera, but this is what the congregation area looks like. And it was funny because while I was talking to Veronica, she's like, a lot of weddings happened here, just a lot of gatherings, and I'm like, you don't think about that, but it's true because I mean that was a lot of years for them to actually be active in this church.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
a
Vanessa,
lot of
that is
different
so
events.
cool getting to see all of that.
And again tonight at City Council, starting at 5:30, will be the determining factor if they can move forward with the project. She said if anything happens, they still have other ways to try to go about it. But tonight at City Council is when they'll determine if they can work with the company in order to get this together.
All right. Well, Vanessa, thank you so much for joining us and telling us a little bit about the preservation efforts that are underway at Zion Hill Baptist Church. I'm sure we'll hear more from you later tonight after everything happens, and I'm sure we'll get the latest from you.
Yes, thank you.
All right.